Hello and welcome to the show. Let me start off by saying that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, and this information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. So this video is about 121, some possible failures to deliver, some possible rumors about Torchlight and metamaterials regarding 121, and what the MMTLP shares might be doing around that date. So let's start. But first off, it's important to note that metamaterials does not live in a vacuum. On January 6th, we recently had an update in the Wall Street Journal. There was an article posted about GameStop entering the NFT and crypto markets as part of a turnaround plan. And the result of that is a major spike in the price. It got as high as actually $172 or so in the after hours on large amounts of, on large volume actually. It went on large volume and got into the after hours, and the price started going like crazy. It was quite insane. The reason for that is that if we look, there was an earlier article about a company called OpenSea, and OpenSea was valued at something around $13.3 billion in VC funding, which is pre-IPO funding, which means that OpenSea is a company which basically trades NFTs on its own market, right? It's a market for NFTs and NFT trading. So they were valued at $13.3 billion, and so the idea was that a lot of people might think that GameStop was going to be valued at 13.3. Just because of the NFT thing. But the following day on Friday, the price plummeted like crazy, and it went down. It opened at about 160 or something like that, and then it came all the way down to 132 almost, and ended the day finally around 140. So most people who follow GameStop actually understand that GameStop has been active in the NFT space for quite some time. They have an NFT group. They even have an nft.gamestop.com where they state that they are looking for NFT developers and NFT programmers. They are actually they're actually working with a company called Loopring to solve one of the biggest problems of NFTs, which is the high gas fees that is causing that is currently problematic in the NFT space. Ethereum gas fees are very high right now. So GameStop has been active in the NFT space for a very long time, so there's no reason why that particular article should cause a new piece of information to come out there that should cause the price to go up dramatically in the after hours. Something else may have caused the price to go up. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to speculate on that, but I don't suspect it had anything to do with the NFT and crypto market space. So another thing that's important in the news media right now, in particularly with regard to the meme stocks, is this particular video that's got Charles Gradante, and he's co-founder of Hennessy Hedge Fund Index, and he talks about Keith Gill, GameStop, Reddit, Melvin Capital, Citadel, whole bunch. It's well worth watching. Links are provided. I recommend you check it out. It's made the rounds on Reddit. There are 49,600 likes on this, and God knows how many awards. This video, it's probably about, 20 minutes long or something like that. It's about corporate governance. It's a corporate governance event panel, and it's got Charles Gradante in there. So the really interesting thing is he talks about how markets work and how price action works and how shorting works, and it's well worth watching. So I'm not going to play the video because it's a very long video, but here's a clip from it that hopefully you'll find intriguing.
Long call buyers with covered call sellers, nothing happens to the underlying stock other than information flow about the stock causing the stock to go up for fundamental reasons or technical reasons, momentum, moving day average, whatever. But insofar as the volume on the long side exceeds the natural offsetting volume on the short side, the selling side, the market maker steps in, must hedge their position, and that creates the balloon up. Now, I watch CNBC, I watch Bloomberg, I read all this stuff, and has anybody heard that explanation? Great, but I'm very disappointed, and it's not uncommon that even the regulators are just starting to, I think they understand this, I mean the ones in senior positions, but they don't know how to handle it. Now there are other things, and I'll give it back to you but there are other things that need to be discussed in the situation, because the market maker, in an effort to support now the short seller, Melvin Capital, they will typically borrow the stock, as I think everybody here knows that. They borrow the stock, give it to the short seller. They actually sell it. It never goes to the short seller. Everything stays on the books of the market maker. They sell the stock. They put the cash on their books, memo credit to Melvin Capital, and that's collateral against the short. And that's the typical short selling. But that's not what happened with GameStop. It did in the beginning, but when the shorting got out of hand on the hedge fund side of the fence, the market makers created synthetic shorts. And that's a whole other issue, and we can talk about that. But the synthetic shorting and naked shorting, which is illegal, a market maker can execute naked shorts insofar as they're facilitating a trade. They're not to facilitate someone shorting a position for an extended period of time. So
they're not to support someone shorting someone for an extended period of time. So that's very revealing, and it's something that we should keep in mind. Market makers do have special powers, but they're only to be used in certain circumstances, and if you misuse those powers, that's illegal. So anyway, that particular video is getting tons of likes. Check it out. Links will be provided. It's really fascinating. I could watch the whole thing easily, multiple times. So let's get on to what this video is actually talking about. So there was a question that was asked on a Reddit post in the RMMAT subreddit, I guess, and it's generally a question that a lot of people want an answer to. Actually, can someone explain how TRCH options expiring on the 21st that were never exercised is going to have any effect on MMAT stock price? Right, and it's a really good question. And I hope to answer. I hope to help to answer it. How's that? Or at least bring some understanding. So part of it has to do with the SEC. So let's go to the SEC webpage. This is sec.gov, investor, pubs, RegSHO.html. And this is some key points about RegSHO. And they first say, well, what's a short sale? Then they give an example of a short sale. Then they say how short selling works. And then they talk about, are they legal? And they talk more about short sales, and they say, what are naked short sales? There seem to be an awful lot of words here about what are they? Is it legal? This, that. Normally, you should be able to answer just, what is it? Should be just a few words. Give an example. Should be just a few words. How does it work? You would expect, maybe a 5-word answer, 10-word answer. Are they legal? For that, there's only 2 words. Yes or no. Oh, man. When you got to give a long-winded answer like this, it basically means you should pay attention to what they're saying. Because what they're saying, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, they go on to section 3. They talk about RegSHO. And as you can see, it's starting to get pretty long here. Finally, we get, to an area where they talk about Rule 204, the closeout requirement. That's an awful lot of reading just to get to Rule 204. But in Rule 204, the specific region, they state that the closeout requirement It requires brokers and dealers that are participants of a registered clearing agency to take action to close out failure to deliver positions. Okay, this says that, you know, if you got FTDs, you got to close them out. And how do you close it out? You close it out by purchasing or borrowing securities of like kind and quantity. Now that's an awful lot of words to use. You could just say something much simpler, but I don't know. To purchase or borrow securities of like kind and quantity. So let's break it up. First part, purchase or borrow. Why didn't they just say purchase or buy? To buy. Okay, they don't need to even say purchase or borrow. Buy, right? Securities of like kind and quantity. Why don't they just say the security you shorted? The thing that was shorted. You don't need to say like kind and quantity. But I think there's a reason for this, right? This is my opinion. So, again, like I said, you know, you could just say require shorts to close their positions and buy back the shares they sold. Simple words, but they're not being used. Okay, and let me start. At this point, I think I got to reiterate that I am not a financial advisor. This is definitely not financial advice, and this information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay, this is just my opinion. Who knows? WTF? That's all I got to say. Yeah. So, question. Did the short hedge funds borrow TRCH options? This whole thing about purchase or borrow securities of like kind and quantity, is that what happened? If we look at the FTDs, again, I made a video about this. If we look at the FTDs, we saw that they spiked up dramatically before they went away, before they magically went away. This is the last couple of days of those FTDs. They went up dramatically, over 10 million FTDs. Over 10 million FTDs, and then suddenly they went to what? 1,859 and then zero. 1,859 on this scale, when you look at 10 million to 1,859, that's near zero. That's near everything, right? So how did that happen? What happened? I think RegSHO just told us what happened. Right? Are they borrowing the torch options of like kind, right? So of like kind could it be that they're using torch options, since it's possible to exercise and take delivery of those shares, right? And if you buy options, you're not directly affecting the stock price. You're affecting the options market, right? So you don't have to worry if you buy options. We know that torch options became MMAT1 options, and they yielded 50 shares of MMAT plus 100 shares of MMTLP. Okay? And those torch option chain, that entire torch option chain is going to cease to exist on 121. That entire options chain is going to cease to exist on 121. And that prompted stuff. All I'm going to say is stuff, okay? Here's an article by Market Insider, mainstream media, that is basically talking about an article that came out on Reddit. Okay, this is a more recent article, but it's the same article. It's the same author, okay? It's U Hard Minerals 94, or U Hard Mineral 94. Check out this article. Links will be provided, okay? He goes into in-depth detail on this. But basically, you got mainstream media now talking about an article on Reddit. And by the way, this says it's got 659 likes. But this is just on our pennystocks. He's posted this on several different subreddits all over the frickin' place. Everywhere, okay? This has a lot more likes and a lot more views than is apparent. Anyway, that's the guy who wrote it. He came out of nowhere, talked about it. I thought it was a fascinating read. So, yeah, check it out. He'll answer your question. Now, this got posted onto one subreddit called r pennystocks, which has 1.8 million users. 1.8 million users. Okay. And he's got 659 likes on it, which means it floats up towards the top. It floats up towards what's hot, right? What's trending. So you know that it got a lot of views. And so I think that's what's going on. I think that can explain the 121, the failures to deliver, the Torchlight, metamaterials, and MMTLP. Okay? And that's what's going on. Or at least all of that is what I think is my opinion. Okay? And let me end by saying I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. And this bears repeating, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Goodbye.